A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Dear students, welcome again in Pakistan International School Taif KSA Virtual Learning System Session 2020. This is English for grade 7. We are reading the book Othello and other short stories from Shakespeare's plays. Today is lecture number 31, chapter number 2, Timon of reading and explanation from page 17 to 30 and exercise also. I'm your teacher Adnan Sabir Mirza. So let's continue with chapter number 2. Yes. Timon of Athens. Timon is the name of a person and Athens is the name of a city. A generous man, generous who spends open-heartedly. Generous means Timon was a noble man who lived in the city of Athens. His father left him with a great fortune and he soon became well known for his generosity. Great fortune means uh, too much money, and generosity to spend open-heartedly. He loved to give presents to the people he knew and he loved to help those in need. His house was open to everyone. Next para. Traders and merchants were always coming to his house to sell him things. They never asked him to pay his bills immediately. They knew he was too rich that they had nothing to worry about. Poets and artists came to sell him their verses and their paintings. If Timon was pleased with their work, he would often give them gold. Timon's fellow noblemen also freely enjoyed his generosity. He was always inviting them to feasts and parties. He often sent them presents for no reason at all, except to make them happy. They all loved him. Among those who kept Timon company, there were some who loved his money more than they loved him. Such a person was Ventidius, an important man who had once borrowed a large amount of money from Timon to pay off a debt. Later, he gained a fortune at his father's death, but he did not bother to pay back what he owed to Timon. Others were less mean. They gave presents to Timon, but then they knew he would send them even richer gifts in return. There were also those who were not ashamed to ask him for presents by flattering him. Flattering means to appreciate, to do buttering. They would speak very nicely to him, but in their hearts they would only be thinking of what he might give them. The only person who was unlike Timon's daily companion was a sore and cynical philosopher called Epimenides. So he was harsh and a cynical philosopher. Means he used to be very truthful and straightforward. He thought all people were foolish and that they only did things for selfish reasons. He was never tired of speaking rudely and unpleasantly about people. However, no one paid much attention to him. Timon used to scold him for his rudeness. Scold means uh, discourage. Timon asked for help. As time went on, Timon's great wealth grew smaller because he spent his riches so freely on others. His steward, the chief servant in his house, warned him again and again. Riches, Timon would repay. Timon would reply, were meant to make people happy. And he enjoyed using his wealth to give pleasure to others. The steward, who loved his master sincerely, almost cried as he watched his master's property being so quickly wasted by false friends. He could see a time coming when Timon would have nothing left. Then he thought Timon would lose all his friends too. Timon went on spending far more than his father's wealth allowed. And the day came when some merchants to whom he owed money began to demand payment immediately. They had found out how little Timon really had. They wanted to be paid before the rest was spent or just given away. Timon did not know why the merchants were so anxious. He just asked the steward to pay them anyway. But then the day came when there was no money left at all and no easy way of getting any. At one time, Timon had had many valuable possessions. He had owned houses and land. If he wanted money, all he needed to do was sell something. But now all his property had been sold or promised to other people. He did not have enough to pay even half of the money he owed. Timon was not worried when at last he understood. He had been very kind to many people. He supposed that he had friends who would rush to help him as soon as they heard of his difficulties. The steward told him that he had appealed to a few Timon's friends, but they had firmly refused to give any help. Timon would not believe it. He thought it was impossible that people could be so ungrateful. So he made a special request to those he had helped the most. A bad time to lend money. Lucullus was among the first to be asked. Timon had been most generous to him in the past. When one of Timon's servants called Philemenius arrived at the house of Lucullus, the rich young nobleman welcomed him eagerly. Lucullus thought that Timon had sent him another present. He could see Philemenius had something hidden under his cloak. Cloak means clothes or the upper part of the cloak, and asked him what it was. Just an empty box, sir. Philomenus answered, my good lord, Timon urgently needs some money to pay his debts, and he is sure you will help him with a loan. Lucullus could not believe his ears. Oh dear, he is sure. Is he? That's unfortunate. You know, your good Lord Timon would be a fine gentleman if he did not lead such a rich life. I had often mentioned it to him at his dinners, and I've been back to his house again for supper just to urge him to spend less. But he never listens. Everyone has his faults, and Timon's fault is that he is too generous to his friends. Lucullus then sent his own servant out of the room so he could speak to Philomenus in secret. Listen, honest Philomenus, he said, your lord is a good, kind gentleman, that's true. But you are wise enough to know that this is a bad time to lend money. Now here's a little money for yourself. Just tell Timon that when you came here, I was out. Philomenus was shocked. He threw the money in Lucullus' face and went off full of anger. Nothing to spare. Lucius, another Timon's friend, was in the town talk, talking to some strangers he had just met. They were telling him that Timon had no money left and that Lucullus had refused to help him. How shameful, cried Lucius. How could Lucullus refuse to help such a good lord? It's is disgraceful. The stranger agreed. I expect you have heard, Lucius continued, that I too have received presents from Timon. Not as much as Lucullus, of course, just a little money, a few pieces of silver, some jewels, and small things like that. But if he had come to me for help, I would never have refused. Just at that moment, another of Timon's servants came along. When he saw Lucius, he stopped. Sir, my lord Timon has sent. What? Interrupted Lucius quickly. What has he sent? He turned to the strangers. I am so grateful to Lord Timon. He is always sending me things. How shall I be able to thank him, do you think? Then he asked the servant again. So what is that he has he sent now? He has sent me to ask if you could lend him some money. Lucius smiled weakly. He must be playing a game with me. I cannot believe he wants to borrow money. He has so much. He owes so much, replies the servant. Lucius thought carefully for a moment. How awfully selfish I have been, he said. Just the other day, I put all my money into some small business I was interested in. Oh, I am so sorry that I cannot lend Timon anything at present. Please tell him that no one could be sadder than myself at not being able to help such an honorable gentleman. The last to be asked. Another of Timon's servants went to the house of another of Timon's friend called Sempronius. So he is sorry to so he is sorry to trouble me. Sempronius was saying in answer to the servant's request. Well, he could have cried Lucullus or Lucius or even Ventidius. He is quite rich now. Since Timon helped him, all three of them owe their wealth to Timon. They have all been asked, sir, and they have all refused. Refused? Even Ventidius and Lucullus? How ungrateful of them. And now he comes to me. I am the last. Sempronius walked about the room, thinking hard. Well, that shows how little he loves me, doesn't it? Really, I am quite angry with him. I was one of the first to receive a gift from him, but I am the last he asked for help. The trouble is, everyone in Athens will hear about it. They will know he asked me last, and they will all laugh at me because of it. People will think I am a fool if I help him now. If he had sent to me first, I would have given him 3 times as much as he needs. But now, as he has made me look so foolish, I don't think it will be possible for me to lend him anything. After that, Timon realized the truth about his friends. The final feast. From that day on, Timon's former friends carefully avoided him. Avoid means they remained away. Timon's only visitors were the servants of the merchants he had bought things from. They now wanted their bills paid. Those who had lent him money continued to ask him for payment. Now, instead of praise and flattery, Timon received rudeness and insults. He could not get in and out of his house without being troubled by people demanding money. This is page 22. Suddenly, unexpectedly, Timon's fortune seemed to change for the better. He invited all his former friends to a great feast. So Timon was only making fun of us all when he asked us to lend him money. They thought. They sat down at the table, talking happily to one another. They thought about the presents they might receive, and they were looking forward to all the fine food that Timon would place before them. One covered dish after another was brought in. Clouds of steam came from the dishes, and it looked as if the feast would be a very good one. Speeches were made to Timon, expressing regret that no one had been able to help him. It was unfortunate, they said, that he had asked for a loan just at a time when they themselves had no money. Timon replied, "Do not worry, my friend. I have completely forgotten all about it. Pleased to be easily forgiven, the guests eagerly waited for the steaming dishes to be uncovered. Steaming means the steam was coming out. Uncovered to remove the cover, then it will be open to see and eat. Timon offered a prayer to the gods. He asked the gods to give each man what he deserved and to give nothing to those who were worth nothing. The guests looked puzzled. Timon soon showed what he meant. Uncover dogs and drink. He cried as much as each man uncovered the dish in front of him. Then was nothing in each dish but hot water. The guests were amazed. Timon lifted the cover from a large bowl of hot water and threw it in their faces. He called them by insulting names and drove them out of his house. He threw dishes and dish covers after them. They thought he had gone mad. In their hurry to escape Timon's anger and scorn, they left their hats and cloaks behind. These even had jewels and valuable ornaments, probably past gifts from Timon, pinned to them. That was the last feast Timon ever gave. He left Athens and the company of his fellow men. Once he had seen in them only good fellowship and kindness. Now he saw only false flattery and greed. He could he could not bear their company. He cursed the city of Athens and all the citizens, young and old. He prayed to the gods to bring them all to complete destruction. He went to live in woods outside Athens. Woods means jungle. He felt that the wild beasts were not so cruel as men and was content to live with them. When Timon's servants discovered that he had left them, they were sad. They would never forget Timon, who had been the kindest of masters. In our hearts, we still serve our master together in sorrow, said the steward, as he looked at the emptiness around them. He shared out what little money was left. He decided to look for Timon himself, and he could not bear to think of him living alone without food or shelter. He would have to search hard, as no one knew where Lord Timon had gone. The general. At about this time, Alcibiades, a general Timon knew well, and who had once led the Athens army against her enemies, was forced to leave the city too. The reason was this: one of Alcibiades' friends, an old soldier, had not got into a fight in Athens, and he had killed a man who had insulted him. The Athenian Senate wanted to hang him for his murder, but Alcibiades tried to save his life. He tried to show the Senate how much the old soldier, had done for the city in time gone by. As an Athenian means of the Athens. As an Athenian, the man had fought in many wars, received many painful wounds, and lost much blood, all for the sake of the city. His strength and the Senate had been pleased for the city in the past. Alcibiades said now what he had made a mistake and was in trouble. Surely the Senate could show just a little mercy. The senators would not change their. When the law was broken, criminals had to be punished. That was the only way people could be made to. Senators could not. The senators would not listen to anything Alcibiades said. Alcibiades tried again and again to make them listen, and everyone got angrier and angrier. In the end, the senators were so displeased with Alcibiades that they decided to punish him too. They forced him to go into exile. Exile means sent out of the country forcefully. They made him leave Athens, his own city, and said he could never return. In the forest, far from the city, Timon found shelter in a cave. He lived on what little food he could find in the forest. Mostly he lived on the roots of plants which he dug out of the ground with his bare hands. One day, while digging for roots, he discovered a piece of gold. He dug a little deeper and soon found a large pile of treasure. Then there was enough gold there to do anything. If he took it, Timon would be a richer man he had ever been before. However, the sight of this bright gold reminded Timon that money made men greedy, selfish, and mean. At first, he felt the gold should remain there where it would uh, cause no trouble. But then another idea came to him. Why not use it to punish greedy people for their wickedness? He kept a little to use it if he needed it, but put most of it back. Just as he had done this, he heard the sound of military music and soldiers marching. A band of soldiers arrived, led by Alcibiades. Alcibiades was now marching in revenge against the city of Athens. He needed money to pay his soldiers. At once, Timon gave Alcibiades some of the gold he had just found. He said he hoped it would help to bring misery and ruin to people of Athens, to rich and poor, men and women, young and old. Alcibiades asked Timon what he would like in return for all that money. Timon answered, "The only thing I want is for all those people to be punished." So Alcibiades left with gold Timon had given him. So this was the page 25. I think, and this is enough for today. So inshallah, will continue with the next episode of this chapter. So till then, take care. Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.